And welcome back. Rethink Food is a not-for-profit organization whose mission is to create a more equitable food system. 42 million Americans are actually suffering from food insecurity as we speak. They believe access to food is essential to human dignity and to the ability to contribute to society. Joining us now to share more details is the Executive Director of Programs at Rethink Food, Nathan Ricke. And Nathan, good to have you.
Thank you so much, Daren. It's good to be here.
It's good to be here. In some ways, I'm glad to have you. In some ways, it's like, oh, because when we think about food insecurity, how rough it is across New York, across the United States right now, and things are further exacerbated by COVID. So give us a little insight as to where you are and what you're seeing with regards to food insecurity.
Absolutely. As you mentioned, there are too many Americans that are experiencing food insecurity every day. In New York City alone, there are 1.5 million people estimated to experience food insecurity on a daily basis. And Rethink seeks to address that in a new and interesting way. We work through two primary models, as you said, to create a more equitable and sustainable food system. We transform underutilized food that's collected from restaurants, catering, and grocery stores into healthy, nutritious meals. And we also activate local restaurants to cater their local community centers to ensure that more New Yorkers have access to a healthy, delicious, nutritious, and culturally specific meal.
Yeah. And so for yourself, talk to me about the organization. How did it first start and how did you get to where you are today?
So we were founded in 2017 with the idea of basically improving the quality of food that was available through local community centers. So our original model is we have a team that collects underutilized food from a wide range of partners, brings it back to a central commissary kitchen, and a team of professional cooks and chefs basically do an episode of Chopped every day, and they turn that into delicious, healthy meals that go back out to community centers across New York City. So that was our model until April of 2020 when COVID shut down the city. And at the time, I was actually working in my restaurant. I have a background in nonprofit management, and I joined up with Rethink in April 2020. We had this idea to activate local restaurants to participate in this also. We knew it was a really good match. Community centers are really good at organizing people, getting volunteers, assisting their community. And restaurants want to feed people and they want to do a nice job. They want people to enjoy what they're eating. So we thought we wanted to try to bring the two together. So we started really small with 5 or 6 restaurants and we grew the program really rapidly. The response was overwhelming. And at our height, we had over 100 restaurants in the program, serving in 5 cities, including New York, sending food to over 250 community organizations. Since April of 2020, we've actually been able to direct $28 million to local independent restaurants in those 5 cities. And those restaurants have donated 5.5 million meals to local community centers. In the Bronx alone, in 2021 alone, we've served over 500,000 meals from local restaurants in the Bronx.
And when I think about some of the work that you've done, I mean, honestly, you said almost 5 million meals have actually been doled out since you've been doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. So we grew really rapidly. In response to COVID, we saw that there was an emergency. And so Rethink kicked off an emergency program in a matter of days. Like everybody else, we thought this was going to be a 4 to 6 to 8 week response. But we were really fortunate that our partners really responded to the program. We were able to find people to help us keep the mission moving forward and just continue growing as the response needed to continue. Our growth followed really closely along with COVID's growth in New York City. So as the infection rate was growing, so was our meal output. We just saw community centers were experiencing longer and longer lines, more people coming than ever before. Organizations that had never worked in food insecurity were flipping their model because that was the overwhelming need from the clients that they were serving, was a way to feed their family easily and healthily. So Rethink was really honored that we were able to identify such a wide group of like-minded people to help us grow the program.
Yeah. And so talk about the certified program and what that actually means.
Absolutely. So when we realized that this was not going to be a short-term response and would be part of Rethink's mission moving forward, we decided to start building this network of restaurants that would share our passion and our mission to address food insecurity and to do it in an equitable and sustainable way. And so what we mean by that is we make long-term commitments to community centers and long-term commitments to restaurants. Many of our restaurants we've been working with since the beginning of the COVID shutdown in New York City in March and April of 2020. In the Bronx, we've worked with over 10 restaurants. Right now, we work with kosher, halal, Mexican, Caribbean, a whole range of partners to make sure that local community centers have access to delicious meals. They're also nutritious, that are cooked by local restaurants, not coming from miles and miles away. In most cases, our centers are just a couple miles away from the restaurants that are serving them.
And so when you talk about impact, have you ever thought about the fact that you guys have had such a significant amount of impact? I know that you did this to with another thought in mind, but to be where you are today and thinking about the impact that you've made, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's been really, really incredible. Like you mentioned, it's every nonprofit. It's bittersweet that they need to exist. We're all trying to address problems that we don't believe should exist, but they do. Rethink in 2022 is going to celebrate its 5th anniversary. And so we're really focused on finding sustainable solutions to the challenges that we're faced with. And that's one of our visions for the Rethink Certified program, is to continue to grow its impact, not just in New York, but in other cities. We also have partnerships in San Francisco, Chicago, Nashville, Washington, D.C., and we recently launched in Miami also. So we really see this as a model that is replicable in any city, anywhere that people are experiencing food insecurity, and anywhere where there are restaurants, which unfortunately is anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. And so the goal for you during this holiday season, as you look to close out the year, do you have some goals in mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So during this giving season through December 31st, our board has generously agreed to match any donation 3 times. So any donation that's received by Rethink will be triple matched by our board through December 31st. You can go to rethinkfood.org to learn more about our restaurant partners, our community partners, and how to get more involved. But that's our goal right now, is we're looking to establish a way of having a sustainable and clear path forward through 2022, as hopefully New York City and other cities start to emerge from the shadow of COVID. But I know we still have a little ways to go.
Yeah. A lot of great work that you're doing, Nathan, and certainly the impact you've made is significant and the need is great. So thank you for what you continue to do, and hopefully we'll continue to bring you back on, I should say, in 2022. We'll have more conversation and see how things worked out.
Absolutely. I'd love to be back. Thank you so
All
much.
righty. Nathan Ricke, our guest here, he is the Executive Director of Programs at Rethink Food. Now, for more information, please visit their website at rethinkfood.org. Follow them also on Instagram and Twitter at Rethink Food. Well, we encourage you, please don't go anywhere. We've got more show. Open continues coming up after this.